Hey, hey, everybody. It's time to swing. We're still swinging. And I'm your host, Thomas. And the Day family, look, I got some questions. You know what I'm saying? I got some answers too. You know what I mean? And look, is Big Meech a rat? You know what I'm saying? Is Cuffy on some foolishness right now? Is 50 Cent at the center of this media storm? Look, I came to talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Listen, I got a few clips I'ma run. You know what I'm saying? So we can get down to the business, and we gonna kick it off with Cam Capone, fair use family. This Blue Da Vinci.
I got Cuffy right here, man, St. Louis legend. You know what I'm saying? And I know people heard me speak about Meech's paperwork situation with the last interview that we had, and a lot of people had a lot of stuff to say. They don't believe it, Blue's hating. You know what I'm saying? And when I went back and I looked at everything, I was like, you know what, bro? It's only right and only one way to really do it. You good? Only one way to really do it and just let dog speak for itself. So I wanted him to call in, and this is him calling in during the interview. Go ahead, Cuff, man. You can introduce yourself and take the flow.
Blue, what's up, man?
Yes, sir.
Hey, a lot of people, man, is thinking that this thing is made up or this thing is fake or that I have an axe to grind. You feel me?
Right.
But I'm in here with a 27-year sentence based on Demetrius Flannery, as you all know as Big Meech, and Tammy Cowens, known in the paperwork as CS1.
Right.
Confidential source 1. So what Big Meech did was called a third-party cooperation. So Tammy Cowens signed up to be a DEA informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut, plain and simple.
Right. So
okay. So can you break down the story? Like, how do you know this? And how'd you come upon this information?
How do you know? How do you came upon this information, though?
We were rewarded what's called a Franks hearing. It's based on a case called U.S. versus Frank. So I would implore your listeners to look the case up. And what a Franks hearing entails is that you're able to cross-examine your accusers, meaning government agents, meaning informants, and so on and so forth, just like a regular trial. So this was testified in court.
Period. Point blank.
This was testified in court that I became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut.
That's what was said on the stand, bro. The lady became a government informant to give Demetrius Flannery a time cut. But I think people would ask a question of this, though. This is what I got hit with a lot is, all right, then if he did it to get a time cut, then how come he still did all that time in jail?
Well, what they don't understand is that he never received the time cut because what came out was that she had an illicit sexual relationship with Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Handler. But her first DA handler was the guy, as you should know, Blue, who wrote the BMF indictment, Special Agent Jack Harvey.
Special Agent Jack Harvey is the person that locked us all up, who's also the person that locked up Terry White, which was her first case as a DEA agent. And then he retired. He retired after he got them 60 years.
Yeah, he retired, and then her handler became a brother by the name of Keith Cromer, Special Agent Keith Cromer, who was also fired behind this particular case. So Meech never received the time cut because, unbeknownst to a lot of people, it's against the law to have a sexual relationship or any personal relationship with a government informant.
This how it happened. Somehow, some way, because
Let me tell you something, family. That kind of stuff happened. And it's at their discretion whether they still want to give you the time cut or not. They wasn't going to give Meech the time cut. They ain't want to give Meech no time cut. You better knew they wanted Meech to rot. All right? They wanted Meech to rot. They ain't want to give Meech no time cut. So when they got that angle, that was their way out of having to let him out of prison.
I don't know how. she met Special Agent Jack Harvey. You could leave that up to question. How did Big Meech's personal assistant / the person that handles all this business / the person that owns BMF Entertainment to this day since 2008?
Special Agent Jack Harvey.
Since,
Put up with Harvey.
so now she meets Special Agent Jack Harvey, and then she starts working for Special Agent Jack Harvey, but not for the Meech case. It was for a whole nother case first. It was for Terry White. But once that case went well, okay, and once that went past and Terry White got his 30 years.
Family, while you listening to this, I want you to think about something for a second, all right? Notice the personality of a Big Meech. All right, and tell me what you think about him, because, bro, this been my thing in life, where I analyze people when I meet them, and I know I seen you before, and I can predict what you're going to do next. That's me. I don't know where, but I know that been who I am. Listen, Big Meech, the kind of guy who will put a billboard up in the center of downtown ATL, because that's how bad he needed to be famous. He a D-boy. Everybody knew he was going to jail except him. Guess what? Think of the mindset of a Big Meech when you listening to this. It's some nigga who think he's somebody he not. Listen, and while you listening to this whole program, family, keep that in mind. The mindset of somebody like Big Meech. And I can predict what he gonna do next.
Years. Special Agent Jack Harvey retired, but now she was ready to go do the case for Meech and help get Meech his time cut. So now when Meech came up, it was a new person that came on, and his name was what's his name again, big homie?
Special Agent Keith Cromer.
Special Agent Keith Cromer is the new special agent after Jack Harvey retired. Now he's her handler, and they engulfed in a personal relationship, sexual, however they called it in the court, and through that relationship, it tainted the case, and it was dishonorable at that point. They had to throw that out. That's why Meech didn't get out. So now you pose the question of why is my big homie Cuff still in jail? And go ahead, Cuff, you can let them know why, how that happened.
From that conspiracy, they indicted me on 2 murder charges. Subsequently, I pled guilty to 2 gun charges in exchange for them dropping the murder charges.
Now, how did they, hold on, let me ask this for you.
How did they set you up?
Hold on, let me ask this for you right quick. How did they get you on something that was totally different from the case that Meech and them had you in a wiretap for?
Out of a totally different, nothing to do with the drug conspiracy, but they falsely accused it as being a part of the drug conspiracy. And then they brought about the gun charges as using the gun charges in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime.
This call is from a federal prison.
Okay, and did they hit you with a superseding indictment or just?
They superseded me.
So they came out of that case that y'all was in court for and hit you with a whole brand new case that had nothing to do with that at all.
Didn't have nothing to do. Yeah, it still had something to do with that. They still let the drug conspiracy stand between Tammy Collins and myself.
Oh.
And she started. That's the only way that they can continue to have jurisdiction. They had to leave the drug charges there.
Oh, see, I thought that they said, all right, well, this case is over, but we
pick up murder charges or gun charges unless it's tied to something. If it's not tied to anything, then the government don't have jurisdiction. So a carjacking has to be tied to something. To have a gun charge of using a 924C, as I have, or 924J.
G. Oh, J.
You feel me? Discharging a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime that results in death.
Right.
How did Meech have information on you and give it to Tammy, and how did all that come together where they were able to, put all that together?
He said, how did Meech have information on you and give it to Tammy so you could get caught up in it? How did that happen? So that means you got to go back to the movie.
Okay, so, well, let me take them back. So me and Tammy were working on the BMF movie. I originally had the script and paid for the script for the BMF movie, not the show that 50's doing on Stars. but I originally paid for the script for the BMF movie, so we were shopping the movie.
So Tammy was involved at that time, which is CS1. So
Tammy Cowan, CS1, had all Meech's life rights.
right. And what year was that?
This all the way back in 2009, 2010.
Family, whenever you hear that CS1, CS2, that's a confidential informant. Like when I told y'all when the Lord Dirt case, and I said whoever confidential informant 3 years, he a witness. And I figured out his name just from they named everybody else except him. He on the indictment, but in the actual crime, they calling him co-conspirator 1 instead of his name, and they calling everybody else by their name. So I knew he was the one hot.
Okay. So
we
this,
proved that there was a legitimate business.
right.
Legal business.
Right.
So, well, so let's take it back. The original target was the guy by the name of Fidel Suarez. That was a Mexican cartel member out of California. He was the initial target.
Right. Fidel Suarez was the initial target
That's
out
why
of Cali.
his name is in the paperwork.
Right. That's
Meech and Tammy was trying to get Suarez.
oh, Meech and Tammy was trying to get Suarez.
Exactly. But when the government found out she was in contact with me, they switched the investigation toward me.
Bad work, my nigga. Bad work. It's just bad work.
Exactly.
Did she help set you up or anything like that?
What's called third-party cooperation, and that's what we've been preaching because that's the dirty little secret.
He just all right. Look, did she help set you up or anything like that?
Yeah, she set me up.
Bro, I broke all that down on our last interviews, bro. She listen. All right, let me explain to you what this lady did, man. She went to the police. All right, she went on a visit or something with Meech and got a play to run. Look, I need you to do this. I need you to do that. I need you to do this. I need you to do that. She left from up there talking to him and went to the police and said, look, I'm supposed to go do this and go do that and do this and do that. I told y'all we finna run the play. And they gave her the phones or whatever to hook up the wiretap. They gave her the hot phones to wiretap who she was talking to. And then she started communicating with everybody on this wiretap phone, bro.
Exactly.
That's how she did it.
With Jack Harvey. Meech put her with Special Agent Jack Harvey.
Where can people find this paperwork?
All right, look, this is where you can find the paperwork. Type in Tammy Cowan's CS1.
YouTube.
On YouTube. On Safari. Not on YouTube.
Okay, yeah.
On Safari. I'm just sending to the actual docket. Nah, forget YouTube.
Okay.
I'm sending them to the docket. The docket is public information. If you type in Demetrius Flannery CS1, type in Demetrius Flannery CS1. It's in your Safari search, and it's gonna pop up right at the top. A 35-page, 33-page docket with all the docket numbers and everything, so people can't be saying it's fake. For people that want to go to Pace or go wherever and pull it for real, you know what I'm saying, off the internet or from a government site or something, then they could do it because all the CR numbers and all of it is there. So look, when I just type that in my phone, bro, see, because I don't want no mistakes about this. Hold on. When I just type that in my phone, this is what it looked like in my phone, right? This is what it looked like in my phone. When I type it in my phone, this is what it looked like in my phone, right? And then I'm going to click on it. Boom. And when you click on it and enlarge it and click on the actual docket, this is what it looked like.
Okay.
Okay, so when you got that one with the red case number 414-CR-00088-RWS-SPM, you know you got the right docket number. And this right here is United States District Court against Dion Lamont Gatlin, Timothy Lamont.
Look, Blue Da Vinci, he loving this, ain't he?
Rush, Andre Alfonso Rush, and Lorenzo Ralph Gibbs. So them is the defendants, okay, right there. And all this shit should have been thrown out when the lady started on the mother agent, but they still didn't kept my man, and that don't make no sense. I don't understand it. So So that's how you pull it up right there. And no question. I did that last time, didn't I? On the last interview, or maybe we didn't put it up. But it should be no question of why anybody is saying, but what is this? I heard some people come back and say, oh yeah, but it just say she did all of it. She did it all.
Yeah, but see, that's when you got the title.
He don't get it. Ain't nobody never gonna give a damn. All right, let me tell you the kind of people that are gonna be able to give a damn. The kind of people who ain't gonna never be able to do shit for nobody. Because the movers and shakers out here, they never gonna give a fuck, bro.
Dots between Special Agent Jack Harvey.
Yeah, it's, I mean, not just Special Agent Jack Harvey, it's just her and me. She's the a co-executive producer of the BMF TV show. Of course he ain't gonna say nothing about it. They still in business to this day. She on the red carpet. They chopping their bag up right now. Meech don't give a about. But guess what though? Let me tell you the coldest part about this, Cuff. But me being out here still on this internet and watching what's going on and talking and got these young kids and so many motherfuckers to be able to get opinions from. And this day and age, bro, don't nobody even give a fuck no more. They don't care. Yeah, y'all don't care.
Evidently, you don't understand that. Listen, and it ain't just nowadays. They never gave a fuck, bro. It all depends on who he is, whether they gonna give a fuck or not. Because if he gonna feed people, you can bet they ain't gonna never give a fuck. I had this conversation with my cousin this morning. Of course, he called me and asked me how I felt about this. And I had to give him the breakdown. Listen, Cuffy crying. He a stupid motherfucker. What will make you go decide to do some business with some nigga that's doing 30 years in a federal penitentiary? What kind of street dude that's stupid? You been to jail before? You know who Meech is? You know what he got to gain if he could just get the fuck out of here? And you, Cuffy, and you thought it was a good idea to go do business with some nigga that's doing 30 years in the fucking federal penitentiary? That made some kind of sense to a real street nigga? Listen, I'm a real street nigga. It ain't no fucking way I would have ever took a chance like that. I wouldn't give a fuck what his name is. I know whatever his name is, he don't want to be where he at. Because I've been there before. All right, I've been in that cell before. You get on this internet and y'all watch these jail niggas tell these fantastic jail stories. That ain't jail. Let me tell you what prison is. Prison is misery. Prison is lonely. Prison is the loneliest fucking place on earth. Okay? I've never been to a more lonely fucking place in my life. That's the last place any man want to be. That's a fucking dungeon. All right? You're going to spend most of your time going out of your mind, trying to keep from going out of your mind, trying to figure out how to deal with what the fuck you going through. Your woman out here, she fucking another nigga. You got to eat that. You got $400,000 in the attic of some people who were some good ass people to you when you was out here. They stopped answering the phone. You got to deal with all this shit while you sitting in this cell losing everything. And you think because he Big Meech, he all right with that? Knowing the life he can have, if he could just get the fuck out, and you thought it was a good idea to go do some business with a nigga in a situation like that? And now you crying, nigga. Ain't nobody gonna give a fuck. You should have gave enough of a fuck to be thinking. Now you crying, looking for people to feel sorry for you. Nigga, you should have been thinking. What kind of move was that to make for a real street dude? Bro, I've been moving out here all my life. Niggas been telling all my life. Niggas been informants all my fucking life. This shit ain't just start. You niggas act like this some new shit. You think that surprised me that Meech did that? That don't surprise me. I'm not shocked. I've been out here. Y'all ain't really been out here. I've been out here. I've been seeing that shit my whole life. I'm not shocked. I'm more expected than not. You think you give a nigga like that a way out, he not gonna take it? He gonna fucking take it. The reason why they snatched this deal, they never wanted to give it to him. They hate him. He the one that tried him. They hated Meech. They hate Meech. The first chance they get, they gonna throw his ass back in there. You can bet that. Yo, he put a billboard up in downtown Atlanta, and he a fucking D-boy. We knew he was going to prison. He got a presence and a persona. He's somebody, he not who he think he is, who he believe he is. I mean, trust me, it's that same syndrome. If a nigga catching 10 bricks, he catching 100. If he catching 100, he catching 1,000. Everybody the biggest, man. He as big as he could get you to believe he is. However big that is, that's how big he gonna say he is. I don't give a fuck how big he is. He don't want nothing to do with that fucking box. All right, we moving on to Poetic Flacco, family. Look, Poetic Flacco, right?
Most expected, unexpected beef of 2025. Now, 50 Cent just shocked the world by posting on his Instagram that Big Meech is a rat. 50 posted a picture of a rat with the caption, "I think I'm Big Meech." Now, 50 must hate Big Meech because that's not just the average rat, bro. That's a super rat. That tail long as hell, bro. So 50 Cent would also write the biggest mistake he ever made was not sustaining his relationship with Tammy. And we're going to explain who Tammy is later on in these videos and actually explain exactly why 50 Cent thinks Big Meech is a rat, all right? Now, he also says that this Tammy lady has a docuseries coming out. 50 must have woke up on the wrong side of the bed because he didn't stop there. He doubled back with another post on Big Meech.
Hey, yo, man, I'm hearing already some people is pulling out of that concert. Yeah, on February 13th, that Big Meech was having. You heard? I know Little Baby ain't performing, right? Yeah, he said he ain't Gunna no more because Gunna a rat. I know he ain't performing that Big Meech. Yeah, 50 on the internet calling this nigga a rat. Talking about Tammy Cowan. This shit didn't grew some legs. Yeah, from when we was on the internet a few months ago talking about, yo, how Cuffy get indicted, how the Migo get indicted, and Meech ain't get indicted, blah, blah, blah. This shit didn't grew some legs since then. Yeah, because if Tammy then told 50 and... Yo, 50, let me narrate.
50 revealed that Big Meech is already making the same mistake that got him in a lot of trouble before he got locked up. Rolling with a huge entourage, rolling with people who don't know how to act, people who are going to ruin a lot of your relationships. So 50 is saying that not Big Meech, but people around Big Meech was out here gossiping about Lil Baby behind his back. Talking about how Lil Baby pulled up on him in a Ferrari, but ain't break no bread and drop off no money for Big Meech, as if that's Lil Baby's job, as if Lil Baby owes Big Meech any funds. But that turned Baby all the way off. So now Baby ain't really doing a concert, with
You see how Lil Baby not doing the concert don't have nothing to do with the rumors about Meech. Okay, but Lil Baby not doing the concert don't got nothing to do with what Cuffy's saying. Lil Baby not doing the concert is some personal shit he got with Meech boys who was running their mouth about him, talking to them, talking like he need to take care of Meech. He don't think he need to be taking care of Meech.
Big Meech and Rick Ross and that whole little Big Meech Return Back concert, Lil Baby ain't doing it no more. They're burning relationships already and Big Meech just got out. But a lot of people is wondering, why is 50 Cent calling Big Meech a rat when 50 Cent and Big Meech has been cool for the latter part of a decade? 50 Cent and Big Meech began their working relationship when 50 Cent executive produced the BMF series and casted Big Meech's son in the series and put a lot of money in the hands of that particular family. 50 Cent casted Big Meech nappy-headed son to play the leading role as Big.
Poetic Flacco really don't get it. That's a lot of money to Flacco. All right, that's some change to Big Meech. Okay, that's some chump change to Big Meech. Big Meech think he should be getting more. Family, Big Meech don't think 50 Cent should be getting all that money. He think he should be getting that money. All right, listen, he cool. He appreciate that 50 did it, but he think 50 getting too much. If you understand the persona of a Big Meech. Okay, listen. Everybody notice how his people treated Baby. They spill the persona of Big Meech off. Some people ain't gonna think they need to pay that nigga no fucking homage. Don't nobody owe him that.
Meech in the series, even though the network didn't want to cast Big Meech's son. They was like, bruh, give us a more experienced actor. 50 Cent stuck his neck out and got him to play Big Meech in the series, which went on to make the son millions of dollars. Is Big Meech's life story, so he made millions of dollars. Big Meech and 50 Cent broke bread in the figures of tens of millions of dollars. Listen, bro, I don't care if we got the most issues. I don't care if we don't ever got to see each other, bro. If you make me tens of millions of dollars, bro, you got my loyalty for life, homie. We solid, bro. I ain't never.
That's you, bro. Meech ain't you and Meech not in the same situation. Meech not a broke ass nigga. And that seemed like all that money to you. But bro, that money get taxed. That money get divided. That money nowhere near that kind of money by the time it get to Meech. Okay, and then it's getting split all kinds of ways. Bro, you don't really know what you're talking about. I'm telling you, Meech think he should have been getting more. Okay, he not okay with the split. He not. He ain't never going to be. All right, and he over here with Rick Ross trying to grab this bag because he don't owe 50 no loyalty. He did business with 50. That's it. He doing business with Rick Ross. That's it. He don't like Rick Ross better than he like 50. He don't like 50 better than he like Rick Ross. Southwest T don't give a fuck about 50 Cent. In the eyes of a Southwest T, a nigga like 50 Cent don't call no shots to him. If a nigga tell you don't go fuck with him, he just called the shot to you. He need to be somebody that can call a shot to you to be able to tell you some shit like that. And in the world of a Southwest T, in the 50s and a Big Meech, a nigga like 50 Cent could never call a shot to him. Ever. He's somebody special to you. He ain't nobody special to them. Trust me.
Never gonna do nothing to ever betray you. So to see 50 Cent and Big Meech currently at this stage in their relationship is shocking to say the least. Their friction is a new development though, because when Big Meech came home and was in the halfway house, 50 Cent pulled up on Big Meech. They took a photo op for Instagram. They were cool. And this was only a few months ago. So what exactly changed from a few months ago to now where they're currently at odds and beefing? 50 Cent is a simple man, yo, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing, but he's simple and he's easy to understand. He lived by certain principles, and if you violate those principles, you guys are arch nemesis now. So the same reason why 50 Cent is beefing with Big Meech currently is the same reason why 50 Cent is beefing with Big Meech's brother, Southwest T. You see, when Southwest T came home from prison, Southwest T went on Instagram and took a picture and a video and even wore the shirt of 50 Cent's arch nemesis, who's currently in jail, Supreme, his son, right, Supreme Jr., and Southwest T took a picture for Instagram. 50 Cent didn't like it because he put a lot of money in that family's pockets.
And you can bet Big Meech had a problem with 50 Cent addressing his brother doing that while he was in there. That's why I check my files. I told y'all, the minute Meech step out of prison, him and 50 Cent gonna fall out. Why? Because I know the personalities. I've been out here too long. 50 Cent not calling no fucking shots to Meech. That's out. That's out. Because in the world of Big Meeches, if you know Big Meeches, they all the biggest. A nigga like 50 Cent never call a shot to a nigga like Southwest T. A nigga like 50 Cent never call a fucking shot to a nigga like Big Meech. That don't happen.
He thought him and Southwest T and the family was really cool. So for you to take a picture with the junior of a man who tried to kill 50 Cent, 50 took that really personally and expressed it.
I had to throw that
You got the front. Yeah, I do the back.
Yeah, I had to throw that on there, man.
Yeah,
and listen, this moment right here is monumental for me, man. I drove 9 hours to come pull up on y'all.
Nah, man, no shit.
9 hours. Yo,
man, listen.
You feel me?
9 hours. Man, listen. Yo. Listen. It's in your blood, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? We all chose to wear life and stood on it. One thing I respect, Pop. You know what I'm saying? I always respect him. It's in your blood, bro. You know, he's an honorable man, man. And I know Chris don't speak highly of him.
Yeah.
I used to just sing. I never had the pleasure, but I used to sing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. 50 would post this video with a caption and he would say, hey, I know T feel like he is not making the money Lil Meech BMF is, Big Meech's son, but I thought they would all be happy for him. It's not like I didn't help your family make millions. Cool, when stars start suggesting the wrong moves, I'm simply going to sit and watch. Don't worry, you will be off the air in no time. 50 thought...
Bro, you think Meech didn't have a problem when he saw that 50 addressed his brother like that? Because you gotta understand the mind of a Meech, and in the mind of a Meech, who in the fuck is 50 Cent? You gotta understand the mind of a Southwest T, who the fuck is 50 Cent? That's why Southwest T did that. Because who in the fuck is 50 Cent? It ain't got nothing to do with what 50 think it got to do with. This Southwest T taking that picture was paying homage to that dude father, and it didn't have nothing to do with 50 Cent. He wasn't taking a shot at 50 Cent. He never thought once about 50 Cent because he don't got to think about 50 Cent before he make a move. He would never consider thinking about a nigga like 50 Cent before he make a move. Because in the world of a Southwest T, 50 Cent a fucking worker. And a worker don't tell me shit.
This was a Southwest T thing, that T was going out of his way to mess with his ops and he was being disloyal to the family, not knowing the entire family is moving like this, right? They don't care about who 50 Cent is beefing with. They not picking sides. They not choosing 50 over whoever 50 enemies are. They're messing with everybody. Because when Big Meech came home, the first person that Big Meech linked up with, now here's the thing, all right, this person isn't a bigger nemesis to 50 than Supreme is, because we know how that story goes.
Family, if you think Big Meech didn't have a problem with 50 Cent addressing his brother like that when he was in prison, you see what he said? All right, Big Meech was offended that a nigga like you had actually addressed his brother. All right, because who the fuck is you? You don't call no shots over here.
But this is probably the second closest thing to Supreme, right? Rick Ross. So when Big Meech linked up with Rick Ross, a lot of us, like, we could already see the writing on the wall for Big Meech and 50 Cent's relationship. You can even see the picture where Big Meech is with Rick Ross. He's smiling, teeth is showing.
Shout out to the chat. Shout out to the chat. Colton James High, salute. Thanks for pulling up. The Django off the chain. Thanks for pulling up. Soldier, always a pleasure. Look, you absolutely right. The Django said right. A standoff, a brawler, a lookout man. 50 was in the boss till rap. Meech boss the streets. Yo, exactly. In a world of Big Meech, a nigga like 50 Cent don't tell me shit. Okay? Listen, all avenues aside, all lanes switched, all everybody in regular position. A nigga like 50 Cent don't tell a nigga like Meech or Southwest T shit.
There's a clear difference between him and 50 Cent where he's not smiling, he's hella serious. So it looks like Big Meech may be closer with Rick Ross than 50 Cent. Who knows? But 50 Cent now sees Big Meech as an adversary, as a nemesis, because Big Meech is now linked up with Rick Ross, who is his nemesis. So because 50 Cent feel betrayed by Big Meech and his family, 50 Cent is now waging war on Big Meech by declaring that he's a rat. And
I'm telling you, family, you gotta trust me on this. Big Meech going to mess with Rick Ross didn't have nothing to do with trying to do nothing to 50. Bro, he live in Florida. He throwing a big show in Florida. He get ready to grab a big bag. Rick Ross, the biggest in Florida. He throwing it in Miami. Rick Ross got to go on the bill because Rick Ross going to do whatever he say. This a money move. But you got to understand, Big Meech a real boss. He would never consider 50 for 1 second making that decision. He never considered for 1 second how it's going to affect 50 because he ain't got to. He ain't got to. Family, for you to tell me I can't go fuck with him, you just called a shot to me. You better be somebody who can call a shot to me.
Trying to spread that rumor. Now, 50 Cent brought up the Tammy lady, and he brought up a decade rumor that Big Meech is a snitch. So let's take a deep dive into those snitching rumors so I can really break down to you where they came from, who's alleging Big Meech snitch, who they said he snitched on, and give you guys all the details. Now, this is part 2. So if you already heard me speak on these rumors before, if you already heard me break down the snitching rumors of Big Meech, you can just skip this part 2 and go to part 3 to hear me give my opinion on the situation. But not everybody is happy about Big Meech coming home. A kingpin from St. Louis called Cuffy, who was a part of the BMF St. Louis division, he was sentenced to 27 years in prison for racketeering, trafficking, and other charges. Well, him and his family are now being really public about them believing and thinking and stating for a fact that Big Meech told on him. And Big Meech is the reason why he's been sentenced to 27 years in prison. So they don't believe that Big Meech should be celebrated. As a matter of fact, they believe that Big Meech should be condemned as a rat when he comes home.
I'm Tamara Gatling. I'm making this recording in regards to my dad. He's Dion Gatling. Most people know him as Cuffy. But I wanted to make this recording so I can shed light on some facts. My dad was set up by one of his best friends, which is Demetrius Flannery. also known as Big Meech. My dad and Meech have been friends for 30 years plus. I've known Meech my whole life. I look at him like an uncle. Like, this situation has been completely devastating on so many different levels, and there's still so many questions that aren't answered. At this point, I can only shed light on what I know for sure to be facts, and hopefully one day I will have the complete truth. But in 2011, around that time, Meech reached out to my dad in regards to creating a BMF movie. So Meech hooked my dad up with a woman named Tammy Cohen's. At the time, Tammy was Meech's power of attorney. Also, she owned the life rights. So my dad was working with Meech, Tammy, T, basically trying to work on a movie deal. So
Tammy at the time was doing everything for Big Meech. Power of attorney, person who handled the businesses, manager, everything. So when Gatlin got introduced to Tammy, when Cuffy got introduced to Tammy, Cuffy didn't think nothing of it. She's this little white girl, who's hot, who Big Meech is probably smashing on the side, but, she handling business for Meech. Okay, we gonna work. So then Tammy and Cuffy began to work closely, and Tammy got into Cuffy's business, started learning a lot about the dealings of St. Louis BMF, that division, what was going on, what packs were being moved. Tammy pretty much got a lot of insight into everything because Meech and Tammy was cool, so Cuffy trusted Tammy. Now, eventually, while they were working on this script, the script got done. It was time to sell the movie to a huge network. Right when it was time to sell the movie, get the deal finalized, Cuffy got arrested over a drug deal gone wrong.
finally arrested my dad and we received the discovery. He knew exactly who CS1 was, and he told me and my mom that it was Tammy Cohen's. At that time, we really did not want to believe. We wanted to give Meech the benefit of the doubt. It was really
Family, everybody like that, right? Because you only see the CS1 there. But yo, you was there. You know who you did that with.
really hard to believe that Meech would set my dad up. It was almost unbelievable. So we were able to like reach out, get a message to Meech, and basically let him know that Tammy was an informant. We later received a message from him saying that it had to be a misunderstanding. Just call her, she'll straighten this out, so on, so on. And at this time, my dad was like, I'm not dumb. I'm not about to call an informant.
The reason why Cuffy was so confident that Tammy, the woman that Big Meech told him to start working with, the reason why he was so confident that she was an informant, because the paperwork laid it all out for him.
You ain't had to see the paperwork to know that this the only person y'all got in common. All right, listen, you don't have to see the paperwork to know none of that, family. Family, Cuffy should have been smarter than that. You don't go do no business with no nigga doing 30 years in the federal penitentiary. Absolutely not. Not when you a real street dude and you really been out here moving. You know better than that. You know the last place that nigga want to be after having a life like his is in that dungeon. It ain't that shit that these niggas on TV who don't have nothing better give you those great prison stories about. Listen, they can have myself. All right, all the fucking time. Because when I'm in there, I'm like most niggas, I'm miserable. I'm going through hell. My woman banging another dude. I got 400 G's stashed in somebody's attic. They ain't answering the phone for me. Okay, I'm going out of my mind just trying to figure out how I'm going to deal with this sentence that's ahead of me. Because I got years of going through all of this misery. Meanwhile, I'm losing every fucking thing. All right, I'm just trying to keep from losing my mind. You think Meech all right with that for the next 30 years? Do you really believe that? Yo, Cuffy was supposed to be smarter than that. And now he crying. He gonna really be crying when he see don't nobody care. Yo, this shit ain't gonna do Meech no damage. Listen, all the problems that dudes got with Meech don't have nothing to do with Cuffy. Because 50 Cent knew about Cuffy a week ago too. His problem ain't Cuffy. His problem is what Meech did because he think Meech owe him some loyalty. And in the world of Big Meech, a nigga like 50 Cent will never be able to call a shot to you. You're not even gonna consider 50 Cent when you making a move if you Meech. You ain't got to because you a boss and you don't consider a worker when you making a move. You gotta understand that that move was about a bag. He don't like Rick Ross better than he like 50 Cent. He don't like 50 Cent better than he make doing business with both of these niggas. And y'all ain't gonna put me in your rat beef. I'm a street nigga. I just got finished doing all this time in the penitentiary. Yo, y'all niggas don't know what Meech lost. I've been in the penitentiary. I've been in the penitentiary at the height of having things. He lost all that shit while he was in there, going out of his mind, trying to figure out how he was going to deal with his situation. Cuffy stupid. You supposed to be smarter than that. All right, you don't deal with no nigga in no situation like that where all he got to gain if he can just get out. Maybe you think because his name Big Meech, he all right with that. He not. Never gonna be.
Here's what the paperwork says, and here's what convinced Cuffy that Tammy was an informant all this time. I'll break the paperwork down for you guys in layman terms before we really read the actual transcript. The feds believe that Cuffy was working for BMF and had the St. Louis BMF division on lock. Now, the feds really wanted Cuffy because Cuffy was involved in murders and all type of nonsense, bro. The feds wanted Cuffy, and they wanted him badly. So what they did was, because Cuffy had close ties to BMF and he was running the St. Louis BMF, they just tied it all in together. Now, Cuffy believed that because the feds wanted him badly, the feds offered Big Meech some time off, a sentence reduction that he wasn't qualified for, but automatically became qualified after Cuffy was arrested. So Cuffy believes the feds offered Big Meech that, as well as Big Meech was incentivized to get him arrested so he wouldn't have to cut him in on the Stars deal that was going through with 50 Cent for the BMF movie. So,
family, if you ain't never been to prison, don't go. It's the loneliest place on earth. That's the loneliest, most miserable place I ever been in my life. All right, and if you think a nigga doing 30 years who had a life like Meech, listen, most of these niggas you gonna find talking all this shit is gonna be niggas with nothing and can't help nobody. The movers and shakers, they ain't gonna give a fuck about this shit. The niggas that can't help you gonna be the niggas screaming in the comments. All right, them niggas that can't do shit. All right, them niggas that's stealing out of 7-Eleven. Them niggas that snatching pocketbooks, climbing through people's windows, trying to break in a nigga house, robbing a gas station. Them kind of niggas gonna be having a problem with Meech. Not niggas that can help or hurt Meech. Niggas that can help or hurt Meech when they get with Meech. They know Meech that ticket. Meech got a ticket. They don't give a fuck about Cuffy. All right, Cuffy's stupid. Cuffy should have knew better.
the paperwork reads, Cuffy was a member of St. Louis BMF and was an associate of Big Meech, had substantial ties to multiple BMF members, had been indicted in the Eastern District of Missouri on drug trafficking charges, and was sentenced at one point to 120 months incarceration for drug trafficking. The affidavit asserted that based on information from CS1, which is a confidential informant, and an independent investigation.
Shout out to the chat. I got somebody in my chat that say Big Meech 313. He said, this cat, why you hating on me? Hey, my brother, look, I don't know if you Big Meech or not. And I ain't hating, I'm just calling it how I see it. All right, listen, if you told on that dude, listen, I know why you told. Trust me. If you did it, and I'm not saying you did it. I'm saying that nigga could have avoided that. Straight up. That's a motherfucking 27 years he did not have to be doing. If he would have just been thinking. I don't know what real street nigga would have been fucking with you in the situation that you was in. All right, he was hard up.
By DEA, St. Louis agents, Suarez owned and operated a trucking company in California and had been investigated and arrested without conviction for a suspected drug trafficking in 05 and 09. In addition, investigation by DEA St. Louis agent reveals 2 large quantity drug seizures from a truck operated by Suarez Trucking Company. So the feds are saying, yo, this person came to us with information that Big Meech, well, not Big Meech, but Cuffy was working with this guy who owned a trucking company called Fidel Suarez. He's already been convicted for trafficking huge drugs. So you guys have all knowledge to look into Suarez guy, because I'm telling you guys, he was already arrested for trafficking huge drugs at some point, and he's working with Cuffy. So the CS1, which Cuffy believes is Tammy, would only have this information because Tammy knew everything about everybody in regards to BMF, because she had really close ties to Big Meech. But it gets even scarier, right? It gets really scarier. So the affidavit attested that based on information that CS1, which they believe is Tammy, provided to DEA Atlanta agents, Big Meech and Suarez became associated while both were incarcerated and for monetary gain. Big Meech arranged through Tammy for Suarez to provide cocaine in multiple kilogram quantities to Cuffy. Now, they believe, from Cuffy perspective, he believes that Big Meech and Tammy purposely provided the plug with Suarez because their plan was to set him up and catch him red-handed and, pretty much lead him into the feds' hands. So Tammy, according to Cuffy now, set up the play. Big Meech told Tammy, hey, yo, connect Suarez and Cuffy. Suarez had the pounds. Cuffy knew how to trap. Connect them two. After Tammy connected them two now, and the distribution started, Cuffy now believes that Tammy then started telling the feds everything they needed to know about where the routes were, when the routes were like being picked up, Cuffy's involvement with these routes, and that's how Cuffy was caught. Now, Cuffy believes that Big Meech did this on purpose to cheat him out of his percentages for the BMF movie that they were selling to 50 Cent and Stars.
He could have gave a fuck about the percentages of the BMF movie. He was trying to get the fuck out of prison. He could have had all the BMF movie if you would have just gonna let him out of prison. I'm gonna tell you that right goddamn now. Get that shit out of your mind. All of this middleman shit cut and dry. He was trying to get the fuck out of there. If you ever been there before, you know why. And you know why most men do that. If you give them a way out, most men gonna take that way out. Most of them niggas that be in there screaming never got that way out. It ain't no way out for them. Nigga, you ain't got no information. You ain't here for the next 95 years on a 5-minute investigation. All right, the niggas in the uniforms be locking these niggas up who gonna be screaming about Big Meech. All right, the movers and the shakers, the niggas that's getting shit done, they ain't gonna give a fuck about that. They gonna be running with Meech. All right, Cuffy lost his mind if he think anybody gonna care. Listen, this a blog and this what I do, so I speak on it. But I'm telling you, this shit not gonna help Cuffy. This shit not gonna do Meech no damage. All right, all the people that's upset with Meech, they upset with him, ain't got nothing to do with Cuffy. They upset with him like it always is. Listen, when you a winner and you moving, niggas gonna get mad. You can't stop that. Why? Because can't no nigga control me. I'm gonna get this money. And yo, if you telling me not to fuck with him, you better be somebody that can call a shot to me. And when you a nigga like 50 Cent and you out here in this game, a nigga like 50 Cent don't even call a shot to a nigga like Tommy. So you know a nigga like 50 Cent don't call a shot to a nigga like Meech or Southwest T.
As well as to get a sentence reduction because the feds wanted Cuffy really badly. Here is Cuffy himself explaining what took place.
What Meech and Tammy did is called because you're not in the system. Thank God you're not. I hate to see brothers in this system, but brothers who are familiar with this system, this is a nasty, nasty system. What Meech and Tammy did was called a third-party cooperation. What happened was...
This call is from a federal prison.
Originally, I was put with Tammy. I paid for the script. I paid $250,000. That's my script. What happened was, homie, I wasn't even the original target. They wanted to get a little Mexican. He's actually a cartel member out of L.A. named Suarez. You'll see his name in the paperwork, Fidel Suarez. He was their initial target. You feel me?
Right.
He was their initial target. But with me calling in while they were trying to set up Fidel Suarez, she clicked over and told the Fed or the agents who was listening to her and Suarez, hold on, this is Cuff. And when they heard the name Cuff, they went fucking crazy. And that's when her and Meech turned the scheme toward me. You feel me? So what it did was, this is what it was supposed to do. It was supposed to give Meech a time cut for her cooperation.
Let me tell you something, family. Suarez got down too. Let me tell you why, because they would have just locked up Suarez and Cuffy if you know the feds. Like I know the feds. Okay, they not sparing none of you motherfuckers unless you giving them some information. Listen, we've been in there, we've been playing with them too long. We know how they get down. You ain't getting shit unless you giving up something. So this nigga that's coming to you talking about the feds gave him something and he ain't had to give him nothing, he only can tell you that when you ain't never been there. When you been there, we know how he got what he got already. He ain't gotta fucking tell us. All right, because we know he ain't gonna never tell us. He gonna scream at all the other niggas who y'all know about. And then the whole time, you're going to find out he doing the most screaming, but he got the most to hide. It's always that nigga.
And set me up. But also, it kills two birds with one stone. It puts me in jail, and now they don't have to split any of the revenue with me. My buddy and my partner along with me, his name is Louis Burrell. That's MC Hammer's big brother.
That's who Tammy was coming out here to see.
He would say that he first started getting some inkling that Tammy and Big Meech were up to no good because the first deal came in from, I believe, Stars or some company or some network where he would get 20% and his partner would also get 20%, and then Big Meech and them would also get their percentage. So Big Meech will get 60%, and then Cuffy will get 20%, and then Nate Burrell will also get 20%. And Nate Burrell is...
I'm telling you right now, that don't got shit to do with why Meech told. Meech told because Meech was trying to get the fuck out of that dungeon. If Meech told. Okay, listen, cut and dry. Cuffy should have been way smarter than that. He should have been smart enough to know that, listen, you don't go and make a move. You don't play with your life like that. This nigga doing 30 years in the federal penitentiary. You don't go and make a move with a nigga in a situation like that because his name Big Meech. That's all the reason why you don't. When you been out here moving and shaking, where the fuck Cuffy been? That's how St. Louis make him. Look, I'm telling you, listen, wait, you gotta be smarter than that. It ain't no way you go do nothing that stupid.
I believe Nate Burrell is MC Hammer's
now you crying, and I'm telling you, ain't nobody gonna listen.
Big brother, who was also working with Cuffy. So when the first deal came in, Tammy was the one who was negotiating everything. She turned it down. And they're like, what? The deal is perfect. It's for M's. We getting paid. Me's getting paid. Why y'all turning this down? According to Cuffy, they turned it down because, they had planned all along to stall this out until the feds pick up Cuffy So now they can just cut ties with Cuffy completely and run off with the script and the money.
Why Tammy would turn down that deal with me and Louis Burrell getting 20% of that budget. You understand what
I'm going to tell you right now, family, that's why Tammy agreed to it. Tammy was going to get more money out of that. That's why Tammy agreed to do it. That's what was in it for her. What was in it for Meech was he was going to get the fuck out of jail. But they ain't want to let Meech out. That was the last thing they wanted to do, was to let Meech out. Family, you know how many times you going to look up a case and the agent was fucking a witness? You know how many times I seen that? They never give a nigga no rhythm on that shit. They just get that agent off the case, and the judge ain't gonna give you no rhythm at all on that shit. I promise you. I seen it too many times, but they ain't wanna let Meech out. You see, they deny everything Meech ever asked for. You see who they let out? They let out Southwest T, because Big Meech was the problem. Big Meech was the one who put that billboard up in downtown Atlanta. Trust me. Big Meech is the one. The minute Big Meech, they gonna throw his ass right back in there. I promise you. They got a problem with that nigga, and he better know it. So he can move however he want. He better know. He better know they on his ass. All right, they gonna be on his ass. Anything he do, they gonna throw his ass back in there. All right, they wasn't a. He gave up. They found an excuse like that the agent was banging a witness and didn't give him his Rule 35 time cut. All right, because they can take that into consideration and deny you if they want. But normally that wouldn't have never stopped shit. But being as though it was Big Meech, it was all they needed. Thumbs up, hell no, nigga, stay your ass in jail.
saying, for a finder's fee. So what ended up happening was we didn't know that they had other plans and that she was sleeping with the feds and that that they would put me off in prison and run away with my script and don't have to give me anything. So it was supposed to give Meech a time cut and knock me out of my percentage, me and Louis Burrell out of our percentage for the finder's fee with Lionsgate's film. Well, Lionsgate, when Louis went, so they backdoored us. Lionsgate shot it down when Louis Burrell wasn't no longer a part of it. You feel me?
Right.
So Tammy's whole thing fell apart. Meech couldn't get a time cut because they found out Tammy has no credibility. Because when you can't have a relationship with a federal agent, now you have no credibility. So they thing blew up. They thing fell all the way apart and blew up. That's why Meech didn't get a time.
This is very bad for Big Meech. Not because of what Cuffy is saying or Blue Da Vinci is saying. See, 50 Cent didn't say you are a rat because Cuffy said you are a rat, or you are a rat because Blue Da Vinci said you are a rat, because Blue Da Vinci and Cuffy was putting one and.
See, Poetic Flacco get his street politics from the internet. You feel me? He ain't been in the streets. All right, I'm telling you right now. Okay? Listen, Cuffy should have knew better than to go and fuck with some nigga doing 30 years in the penitentiary. Now he crying. A nigga like Big Meech with all he got to gain if he can just get out. You thought that you was a real street nigga, thought that made some kind of sense? What streets you grew up in? Because where I'm from, you don't do no shit like that. You know better, especially when you came this far in the game. You seen this shit all your life. All right, this shit don't surprise me if Meech done that. You think that would surprise me? I've been in this game my whole life. I done seen it from the best stuff. Listen, bro, if you give a nigga a way out of that box, 9 times out of 10, he gonna choose the way out of that misery. All right, trust me. I promise you, if you ever been in that cell, you know why a nigga told.
2 together and trying to get 3. They were just guessing. Yo, this is suspicious. He had to rat on me because nobody else could have ratted on me. The only people who knows for certain whether or not Big Meech and Tammy conspired to tell on Cuffy and the Migo.
Family, this what he don't understand. They all knew this shit a week ago. It just started a media storm. 50 Cent started a media storm because he got that kind of power on the internet. Where he don't got that kind of power is in the street where Meech do. All right? And Meech gonna get it how he live, trust me. All right? Listen, I'm gonna tell you right now, right? The only way Meech ain't gonna get no money is if they stop making it. And you know they ain't gonna do that shit. He gonna do what he if you ever think Meech, a nigga like Meech, gonna think he need a nigga like 50 Cent, you lost your mind. A nigga like 50 Cent don't call a shot to a nigga like Meech. And if you telling me not to go over here and fuck with somebody, you just called a shot to me. You need to be somebody who can call a shot to me. Other than that, nigga, fuck you.
Well, it's Tammy and Big Meech. So if 50 is now saying that Tammy and Big Meech are no longer seeing eye to eye, and Tammy got a document coming out, or a docu-series, or a documentary coming out to
Meech didn't do that to slight 50 Cent. He never gave a fuck about 50 Cent. He never considered 50 Cent for 1 second when he did that. Why? Because he ain't got to. When you a Big Meech, you don't gotta consider no nigga like 50 Cent. A nigga like 50 Cent need to consider you. In the world of Big Meech, trust me, I know 100 Big Meeches. Trust me, family, they all the biggest. If he catching 10 of them, he catching 100. If he catching 100, he catching 1,000. Listen, he is big as he could get you to believe he is all the time. Trust me.
expose Big Meech, this is bad. And the worst part about all of this is Big Meech could still be innocent. Tammy could just be somebody who is very angry. She feels slighted that Big Meech got out of jail.
But in the world of these niggas, yo, we get it done out here. A nigga like 50 Cent don't tell you shit. All right? Nigga, I've been stepping out here. Nigga, you don't tell me nothing.
And went right back to his family, bruh. Right, Big Meech, when he was in jail, he needed the side chick and the scallywag to hold him down. As soon as, you know, like he got out, he went right back to his family and left the scallywag on the curb. So now the scallywag is coming back for revenge. So even if she's coming back for revenge and she's not telling the truth, nobody is going to believe Big Meech when he says it's not true, right? Because these rumors have existed for 10 years. If that woman comes out and says, yeah, Cuffy was right, you know, when it comes to conspiracies, yo, and this is why conspiracies is so powerful. When it comes to conspiracies, it doesn't even matter if it's true or not. It doesn't. The conspiracy doesn't matter if it's true or not. If you are somebody who can reinforce whatever stigma or narrative or agenda that person already has in their mind, it doesn't matter if you're telling the truth or not. You're just reinforcing what they already think, so they're going to believe it. If Tammy comes out and tells Cuffy and Blue Da Vinci, oh yeah, Big Meech told on you, oh yeah, Big Meech used me to conspire against you, well, she's only reinforcing what Cuffy already thinks. So now you have Cuffy saying you ratted, Blue Da Vinci saying you ratted, and Tammy saying you ratted, and they're saying that Tammy conspired with you. So if Tammy says, yeah, Big Meech used me to tell on you, we got the victim of the telling, we got the person who told, and we know that you're the one who put the quote-unquote rat in communication with Cuffy. Oh, no.
Listen, the streets ain't gonna care nothing about this shit. I'm talking about the real street niggas, not the jailbirds. They just not. They never going to. The movers and shakers not gonna care nothing about this shit. Do you wanna know who gonna care about this shit? Them niggas who can't do nothing for you. Them niggas who breaking in people's houses. Them niggas who robbing shit. Them niggas who doing drills. Them niggas who don't ain't never gonna count. They the ones who gonna care. Them niggas who can't help you. They the ones who gonna be screaming, fuck Meech. The movers and shakers, they gonna go get with him. I'm gonna tell you that right now. He a walking bang.
It's gonna be bad, bruh. It's gonna be bad for Big Meech. And the one thing we know, bruh, ain't no love out here in these streets, homie.
I'm telling you, it's gonna be them niggas who they doing 100 years on a 5-minute investigation. They the kind of niggas who gonna be screaming. All right, that nigga that them niggas in the uniform locked him up. All right, listen, he was gone. They did a 15-minute investigation. He ain't never getting out of jail. That's how dumb he is. That's the kind of screaming nigga. That's the kind of niggas gonna be screaming. All right, them niggas who smuggling donuts out of the donut shop, stealing out of 7-Eleven, trying to snatch a bitch pocketbook, trying to break through a nigga window. Them niggas.
All right, Big Meech right now is getting a welcome back tour. You got all the rappers pulling up trying to get next to you. But that's all for the look and the clout. They only want to be next to you, not because they love you, bro. Because you got the attention and the clout right now, bro. If you get that rap put on your name, bro, if you get that rat attached to you, bro.
Listen, them niggas out here moving and shaking, they don't want to hear that shit. They ain't got time for that shit. They doing their thing, bro. They doing their thing. All they want to know is, can they get a bag with you? Can I get a fucking bag with this nigga? Okay, and when it come to Meech, the answer is yes. So the street spoke.
These rappers ain't pulling up no more, man. These rappers ain't trying to take pictures no more, bro. These rappers ain't trying to kick it with you no more, bro.
If Cuffy was out here and could feed some niggas, it might be different. It might be different. He might mount up a real charge if he was out here and could feed some niggas. But ain't no nigga gonna listen to no nigga with 27 years. As far as the street concerned, you a loser. Trust me, you lost. All right? When you get back out here, try it again.
So this is going to be interesting, man. I want to see how this plays out. Y'all let me know in the comment section, what do you guys think? How do you guys feel like it's going to play out? Y'all think Big Meech told? Y'all think 50 Cent is just doing this to get back at Big Meech, but Big Meech ain't tell? That's also one of the arguments that...
Listen, family, we ain't gonna never know if Big Meech told or not. Trust me. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? It's up to you to decide. But I'm telling you right now, I'm here telling you, ain't nobody gonna give a fuck. The kind of niggas that's gonna give a fuck is the kind of niggas that can't help you, that can't help Meech. They them dime store hood niggas, okay? Them niggas that doing 100 years on a 5-minute investigation. All right, them niggas snatching pocketbooks. Them niggas breaking in people's houses. Them niggas that's doing a bunch of petty shit. But the movers and shakers, all they want to know is, can they get a bag with you? The niggas that can help you or hurt you, they rolling with the winner. They ain't never siding with the loser. Okay, ever. Nigga got mouths to feed. Niggas got bills to pay. Niggas don't want to hear that shit. They don't give a fuck about none of that. All right, listen, what can they do? What can we do? I'm a part of the winner circle. I came here to win. I came here to come up. I can't come up listening to Cuffy. Cuffy finished right now. Holler at me when you get back in the game. We might got some time for that shit. Until then, family, it don't take much to be nice. All we gotta do is think. Think. All right, we all gotta live on this planet together, walking in and out of each other's space. Respect is important. Look, make sure y'all like the program. Subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Share the program if you will. Thanks for pulling up, family. 8:30 every night. Still swinging out. I love you, family.